We're going. We're doing it live. We're doing it live, folks. So, all right, everybody, welcome to the second annual Filtie Awards presented by the Unfiltered Studio Podcast Network. And yeah, it's good. I'm excited about this. We did this last year. It was very, very fun. We were a much smaller group, so it was very, very easy to determine who won the awards. This year, not so much. We have grown to, I think we're at what, 29 podcasts now, maybe even 30. And it's a little bit harder to decipher some of the awards. And let me tell you, they were very hotly contested, some of them.
Hotly contested. All right.
Hotly contested. I had to do some double checking on some of the tallying, but it's good. So we've got a good group joining in. I think that we'll have some viewers online that will hopefully join and see. And if not, as it always is, we will make fun of the people that do not join and comment. Very much.
In the Christmas spirit.
Of course, in the Christmas spirit, but we will definitely make fun of them. So we're going to do a quick round robin, and please give a shout out to your podcast on who you are. And thank you very much for joining us here tonight. I will start off. I am St. Joe with the multitude of podcasts. I have my own on Monday, Nailed It with St. Joe. I also do Show Me Your Trips. That's a travel podcast that comes out Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. And I am a part of the Unfiltered Sports Weekly podcast that comes out Wednesday with Keb and the Beebs. Let's just make it easy. We'll go to the my right, so we'll just go to Beebs next.
Okay. Yes, I'm the Beebs. I'm just like St. Joe. I'm a part of two and sometimes three different podcasts. But the one that I produce myself is the Finding Your Way podcast. I'm also on Unfiltered Sports Weekly with the Keb and St. Joe. And that's where I've been the majority of the time. As long as I'm not interviewing, of course, on some of these other folks' podcasts, which is a blast, by the way. So yes. I don't know who's to my right.
Down. We'll go down.
Down. Hi, I'm Mama D, and I am on Pedals of Support, which is Tuesdays and Thursdays.
Fantastic.
Awesome. I'm Smith from The Story Of, and we try to get one out at least once a week on a Monday or a Tuesday. And we're super happy to be here. I'll represent my guys, and we're super happy to be a part of this crazy family we got here. So thanks for having us, guys.
Fantastic.
I'm Matt from Matt and Friends Drink the Universe. We typically do one full-length episode a month, and I'll drop a couple of our shorter, what we call our alcohology format. So something fun about alcohol in 5 minutes or less typically happens a couple times a month, and absolutely thrilled to be part of the Unfiltered Studios podcast network. Thank you for having me.
Excellent. And last but not least, can't hear you. Uh-oh.
Sorry, I muted myself. You can hear me now, right?
Unfortunately. I mean, fortunately, yes, we can.
My name is Keb, and I'm most well known for being the husband of the soon-to-be world-famous wife. But I'm on Unfiltered Sports Weekly with these two clowns, and I have a small podcast called The Stupid History Minute because my wife says my best work is done usually in a minute.
Yeah, well done.
Oh wow! Well Keb started early apparently with the eggnog, so it could be a very fun night. It could be good. Well, thanks, guys. It's great. I'm glad that everybody has joined us. We might have some stragglers popping in. We told them whenever you could join in, please do so. It should be fun. But we'll get right into it. I know that everybody, and again, thanks for everybody that voted. I tried to come up with some fun things for people that can do. It's really just kind of poking fun at a little bit of everybody. What we do. I think that everybody does things for, a lot of us have all talked about a lot of different things and the reasons that we do podcasting. I think we can all kind of agree it's a little bit of therapy for all of us, some way, shape, or form. So if we can't make fun of ourselves, then why are we doing this, right? So we just kind of caught up with a couple different things. So I'm going to go through all the ones that we listed. And if anybody here won on there, please feel free to say something about it, whatever you want to do. If not, then we will we'll say something about the winners, and we can make fun of them for not being here and make any comments about the podcast that won. So we'll start off with the best catchphrase. It was which member delivers the most iconic catchphrase on their podcast. Oddly enough, this one was voted that nailed it. Won. Apparently, you guys like me. You like me. You really like me. Which
Yay!
is
Good job.
So,
Make sure you nailed it.
That's right. Yeah. The work hard, play hard, but whatever you do, make sure you nail it. Seems to everybody resonate. So I appreciate that people like that one. So thanks, guys. That means a lot.
Yeah, congratulations, sir.
Yeah. This
Hey,
next,
what came in second?
I'm
just
not
kidding. I'm just
not the stupid history minutes.
What came in third?
We're not going to play that game. This one was pretty easy. The most convoluted conspiracy theory award for the podcast that delves into the deepest, darkest corners of the internet. It was almost a tagline, really, for the show. This was a runaway. This by far and away was the story of.
Oh, you
Well-
guys
Well
like
deserved.
us.
Well
You
deserved.
really like us.
Congratulations.
Oh,
Yeah,
thanks, guys.
yeah. So Smith, I mean, this one wasn't really even a contest. Everybody pretty much voted for the story of, and yeah. So if you need, here we got Jay coming in, so that's good. Yeah, the story of was a runaway. It wasn't even close, and I can just say that we listen to this podcast a lot, and it's a great podcast. So if you want to say anything about it, please tell us more about it or whatever you need to say.
Sure, yeah. If you haven't tuned in, it's a group of guys, and we choose a topic each week. We research it independently. We don't share any information that we have found with each other, and we come back to the table to discuss everything that we found to tell the story of. And we're honored, man. Thank you so much, guys, for voting for us. It's a lot of fun to do. And I've got to meet just so many amazing people, specifically, our network family, and for real, it's we started this thing a couple of years ago, and just, like you guys had mentioned, something for therapy, therapeutic purposes. And, it's just a lot of fun. And if people enjoy it, that's awesome. Thank you. We really do appreciate all the support. You guys are awesome. Thank you. Thank you guys very much.
Yeah, no problem. And I just reiterate that these are all voted by from the ones that I received, and I received about 15, 17 different people out of the 30. I think we're at 30. I'll say 30. I think 29 or 30 podcasts. So I did get a pretty good response back, and these are all voted by our fellow podcasters that we have in the family. So it's great to see that if you're doing that. It's by the people for the people. So yeah, it's even better that your comrades are voting you for these awards. So
yeah, that's huge.
Yeah, a little bit more, but that one was pretty. There's a couple that were pretty far away and runaways, and we'll get to them. But podcast personality of the year for the person who consistently brings the energy, humor, and passion to the show. Now, this one was one of the hotly contested podcasts. There were quite a few in here. There were a few people that I thought that this could have fit. I was right. There was a couple, but it did boil down to one person kind of edged out there in the end. And I kind of agree with where it came down to. And that one would be one Keb, Mr. Keb, Mr. the Keb ended up pulling out.
Yay!
Wow.
You're funny. You say funny things.
Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mazel tov. Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Happy Kwanzaa.
Yeah. Well, yes. Okay.
Nailed them all.
Yeah.
Nailed it.
If he's going to say
Nailed
that's
it.
what he's going to
Eh.
essentially right from the Keb. I mean, it doesn't go any better than that, I guess. Yeah, like I said, the eggnog was coming early there, so I think we're gonna have more out of that. But um, this next one, again, I was a little bit close, but in the end, I think came out with the right person. The accidental ASMR artist, which was given to the podcaster whose voice is so soothing and calming that it could put a baby to sleep. Anybody have a guess on who this is?
Well, yeah, I do, but it's because every time I listen to Nailed It, it puts me to sleep. So
Well, I kind of set myself up for that one, didn't I?
Low blow on
dude,
that
you
one.
had like a big
Wow.
flag in the air. You're like,
Wow.
Keb, please make fun of me.
Wow. Wow.
I'm just
Okay.
kidding.
Well, no. Well, it's actually our late joiner, Mr. Jay Burke.
He does have
There
a
it is.
Really?
He
Yeah.
does have a
Sexiest
top
voice
country
on the
voice.
internet.
Yes. And for those, I'll give you, for those of you that haven't heard it yet, we're going to get to hear that silky smooth voice
There it
here.
is. Come on now.
Hello. No.
Oh,
Uh,
there it is. I got to tell you, that
Well-
made my day.
Well, thank you guys. I did not expect to win that one. I actually thought it was going to be like a toss up. There's a few people I thought, but way ahead of me. So I appreciate that I have the ability to lull people to sleep and that they still listen anyway. So I appreciate it.
No, I think
buddy.
your editing and everything that goes on with it, Jay, is definitely some head and shoulders there, and I
Thank
think you play with your gain quite a bit there to get that silky smooth voice, right?
I do a little bit. Yeah.
I've forbidden my wife to listen to your show, Jay. She's not allowed to listen to your voice. It's not fair. anymore.
It's like Howard Stern when he, if you've ever seen that movie when she's sitting on the base and he's like, okay, so it's like no more.
That's
That
That's it,
perfect
man.
scene right there.
Oh.
Yeah, yeah, it's just so funny. Anyway, that leads perfectly actually into the next one, which is best movie review. And again, this one celebrates the podcast that delivers the sharpest, funniest, or most insightful review of a movie. This one was a runaway, and deservedly so. This was Movie Lovers Unite, and they do a great job.
Yeah, good for them. Good.
Yep, they do a great job, John and Rosie, and even Rosie's spinoff. They do a great job with their reviews, and yeah, everybody just a consensus was Movie Lovers Unite. So, best therapeutic podcast for the podcast that feels like a warm hug, offering comfort, inspiration, or meaningful self-reflection. This one was a tougher category than I thought it was going to be, because as you know, we have probably 5 or 6 different health and wellness, if you want to call it that, or mental health podcasts, which is good, and they're all great. So when they come down to it, each and every one of them got votes, which is great, but it came down to really 2, and when we all know which 2 they were, but one of them was edged out, and it came down to Cindy at Hypno Wellness
Yay!
taking the
Cindy!
yeah. Cindy does a great podcast, and she really wanted to be here, but I think she has. I think she said something about her kid going to bed earlier or things.
Her husband goes to bed
Husband,
super
okay.
early. Yeah, so
Okay.
He's like a real man and wakes up like
It wakes up.
He wakes up before dawn.
morning.
That's how manly he is. Yeah, that's a real
Yeah.
man.
Yeah.
But Cindy did a great job and well deserved. The Time Traveling Historian Award for the podcaster who seamlessly weaves historical facts and modern day humor into their podcast. Now, I could not. This is the only. Well, I can't say the only, but this one came down to a tie. It had to. And Smith, I hear Smith going, interesting.
Mhm.
Because it was between the story of and the stupid history minute, and I
Oh,
believe it
yay!
has to be that
Ooh.
way.
Yeah.
It did vote, and it really did come down in between the two.
Yay!
That is an absolute honor to be mentioned in the same breath as the stupid history minute. That's
Oh, the
awesome.
feeling's mutual, man.
Oh, man,
The
that's-
feeling is mutual. You guys are like real history, and I'm like over here making fun of it. Yeah.
Oh, man.
I mean, you guys are talking about, the Untitled 2025, or that series that you did, and I'm over here talking about Judy Garland singing here, from Meet Me St. Louis. So
No,
You do
that's
it
real
every
history,
day.
man. That's real history too. And the hard
Mhm.
part is being able to describe it in 1 minute. That's incredibly difficult. Very
Well.
difficult. So yeah, man,
It is.
that's awesome. Very cool.
Sometimes what
I-
we do is create really, really big fake words so we can describe things very
Big
quickly.
fake
Isn't that right? Isn't that right, Kim?
hey, St. Joe, can I tell that story real quick?
You can certainly tell that story.
Because Dan and Jay, well, you and Bees have heard of it. Dan, Jay, and Matt get a kick out of this. So I drive around a lot, right? So I listen to a lot of podcasts, all you guys, and anyhow, so I'm listening to this other one you guys may know called Better Call Daddy, right? And I just and the reason I was listening to it is because Mama D was on it, and about 3/4 through it, they start bringing up Stupid History Minute Guest Host Month, and which everybody on here is participating in. Anyhow,
That's called free promotion.
right.
Didn't you have to do that, by the way?
And so
You're
they're
welcome.
like, I think Keb comes up with opens his thesaurus. It just comes up with these like huge words. So when we got down to this year, I said, all right. So when we got down to this year, one of my researchers, my 20-year-old daughter who's in college, I said, I want you to find the hardest words imaginable and put them into this script. And she came up with ones, and I'm like, if you gave this to me, I'd hand it back to you. And I'm like, I'm not reading that. I said, come up with a backup, because she ain't gonna read that either. But we're gonna send it to her. So we sent it to her, and I'll tell you this, she did it like a champ. Yeah,
I killed it.
I can't wait. I can't
killed
wait to
it.
release it.
Yeah.
I can't wait to release it. It's a champ.
They were like chemistry words. It was insane. It took me, you should have heard the outtake ones that I had, because I was throwing in some extra words in there when I was trying to record that. But I was very proud of myself.
I looked at my daughter and I'm like, my wife's a teacher, my mom's a teacher, my two sisters are teachers, Beeb's a teacher.
Mhm.
I'm like, these aren't words. They're not.
But they
these
are.
aren't words.
It's not real.
So
That's awesome. I think that's hilarious. But yeah, it's great. I love and Keb also said that, like he said, mentioned you're kind of the real history, and he's like the anti-history, even though it is history, but he's kind of making fun of history in his podcast. But hey, it all works.
That's
It
what
all works.
historians do anyway.
That's right.
They make
Yeah.
fun of history.
Yeah, it all works. It's great. So, two very well-deserving podcasts, for sure. And yeah, so this next one too, the Professional Rambler Award, was given to the podcast who can talk about anything and everything and make it interesting. Now, this one again, it comes down to really. I don't like ties, but I also kind of I can't not mention these two kind of podcasts, and I think that they fit. When you'll hear the people, you'll understand. So one, we've already mentioned them tonight, and it is one Jay Burke, which is great. And if you've
Thank
listened to his podcast for any length of time, you can understand definitely Professional Rambler. I think that fits it.
Yeah.
The second one,
this dude Jay Burke can make anything interesting. Okay,
And
I agree.
sexy.
I
I'm
agree.
just telling you that he can read the back of a Tampax box and make you want to tune in. I'm just telling you.
Wow. All right. All right.
Somehow you'll get 40 minutes of that out of me.
Yeah,
Great editing as well.
yeah.
It'll be like, I'm not really sure where I'm going with this, but here's this,
Hear me out.
I bet we could tie that into the atomic bomb somehow.
Yeah.
Did you know that? But the other one, and if you haven't listened to this show, then you need to. And I think that fits the category, and people voted it because of it. Was Matt from Matt and Friends, based off of the
Yay!
trivia and
Somebody play the sound.
Yay!
I am humbled. Thank you.
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of one of those things where it's like, do I want to be known as the professional rambler or do I not? But I think it's the subject matter that you do and where you are and what you're covering. So I think it's a good thing.
I agree.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so good. And then we go to this one, the most underrated podcast. For the hidden gem that deserves a little bit more recognition. There were three that kind of got mentioned a little bit more than any of the others, and I can agree with these as well. There was 12th Street. What's the full name of hers? 12th Street.
Talkback?
Yeah, 12th Street.
Yeah,
12th
Talkback.
Street Talkback. There's Pick Your Poison,
Yay!
which is a great podcast. Very high fast-paced podcast. And then there's FDR, which has become and made a big push here lately. They've released some pretty good episodes here lately, and gotten a little. I guess I think the election has helped them a little bit more. The big push, so giving them a little bit more. But those are three that definitely people need to check out a little bit more.
Yeah, much agreed.
So that's good.
Amazing.
That's
sure.
good. The most informative podcast. This was a runaway too. If you haven't listened to this podcast, it's the most. Yeah, this guy just made the news. I don't know if you saw this clip, but he was actually interviewed on the news, like real news. And I'm like, wow, this is more. I mean, it's that This Week Explained or That Week Explained.
Yeah, that dude's for real.
Yeah,
I mean,
he's legit, like for real.
Like he knows exactly what he's talking about.
Yeah,
And he's been posting on Twitter. If President Trump is listening, we want him as ambassador to New Zealand. All right.
I saw that.
I mean,
right?
like
we need him. We need him in that on that island. Okay.
Yeah. I was totally like laughing, and I'm like, okay, and I'm listening to his episode, and then I'm like, look, and he posts his Twitter, and I'm like, dude, he's like legitimately interviewed on the news and talking. I'm like, this is crazy.
Like a staple of the intelligence community. Like he's
Yeah.
very, very well versed.
Yeah,
in
but
what
he breaks down stuff. He
Mhm.
definitely doesn't ramble. He breaks it down into
You know what's funny? Is some of the stuff
digestible
stuff that's going on in Israel, he knows before it gets before it comes up in the news.
Yeah.
And like he's just really he just knows, like he just has those connections. So
yeah.
The reason I find it informing is because it doesn't. Now I've listened almost every episode. It doesn't really lean left or right.
Yeah.
You know, it's very factual. You know, and here's the information, and let me just explain it to you because I'm one of those guys that needs shit explained to you. You know,
yes.
Yeah.
So
yeah, but you're right. He's just straightforward. Here it is, and it's just. It's kind of fast paced again. It's just kind of it's all at you, and it's just kind of okay. But yeah, it's a fun little podcast. So I'm like, okay, but I just was kind of flabbergasted when he posted the latest, tweet, whatever you want to call it. What do you call it these days on X? Is it still a tweet? I don't even know.
I've heard people refer to like MLB loudouts in the morning will be like, well, X at us, and that's the worst thing I've ever heard.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, there has to be something better, right?
I'm calling it tweet and Twitter. I don't care.
Yeah, I mean, it's always been a tweet for forever. So whatever they call it. But I when I saw that, I'm like, wow. Like I said, this guy is bigger than I thought he was. But hey, more power to him. That's great. And the fact that if he's part of this, that's just crazy. So, so that was pretty good. Best Interview Award, honoring the podcast who delivers the most compelling interviews of the year. I was really glad to see that that this one went to Sleevey, Sleevey G, and I was really glad to
Yay!
see
Good.
everybody. And everybody voted for him. And I was really happy to see that because
That man works hard. He
He
works
does.
Yeah.
He
hard.
pushes his podcast hard.
He
Yes.
does,
Hard.
and he everything, all the love he gets, he deserves. Like for
Yeah.
real,
Sure.
he
Yeah,
works
and
hard.
he gets some crazy people on his show. I mean, he gets some hardcore interviews and legit, former NFL players, hockey players. Where he gets these people from, I don't know how he can get them, but he does. He pulls them out and he gets them, and he gets really good interviews, and he does a great job with them. So, good for everybody that they pick Sleevey.
When I talk to him, he actually does like typed out or handwritten letters. He does old school, and he mails them. And he was saying that someone gave him some crap that like he was pushing too hard because he'll send out like 50 of them. And I'm like, that's not pushing too hard. That is really, really impressive. I was so proud of him. And even if he only gets a couple responses, that's dedication. He does a really good job.
Yeah.
Well, whatever he's doing is working.
Like,
I
it's
mean-
pushing too hard. It's called working. He's working to do
Right.
well. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Like that's insane. To
Yeah.
criticize that. That's
yeah,
crazy.
but that means you care about your craft. Like,
Yeah,
to
man.
send
Yeah.
that out like that. Like, I would definitely.
100%.
Yeah.
100%. Well, that explains maybe a little bit more on why he is getting the people he's getting then. Because I mean, you get a handwritten letter saying, "Hey, can you be on my podcast?"
Oh, yeah.
I'd look twice at that for sure.
Absolutely.
I just say this about Sleevey. Sleevey got Frank Fleming on his show, and I know there's two people on here who know exactly who Frank Fleming is. I've been trying to interview Frank Fleming for
Not a big
5
fan.
years, and he will not, lock horns with me because I am of the hated Braves.
I would love for him to go on your show so you could destroy him. That would be amazing.
Dude.
As a Mets fan, please do, sir. Please do.
I love his freakouts like on TikTok, during the baseball season. I just want one of his freakouts to be because of me,
Fair.
Flatter Dave.
Well, I mean, he's part of Barstool Sports,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And
Yes,
so,
he is.
I mean, that's just crazy. But like I said, how he gets some of these people is just beyond me. But more power to him, and I hope he keeps doing it. And some of the bands that he even gets, he knows some of these people personally, and I mean, hey, good for him. That's great. Keep it up. He's doing great.
Emmy Award nominated actors and actresses. Like that's crazy.
Exactly. I mean,
well played, Sleevey. Well played, sir.
And John, I mean, I give it credit to John and Rossi. They get some great people too.
Yeah, absolutely.
But they've been doing movies, and they go to like these movie cons or Comic-Con type things to get some people there. But hey, that's great. I love it. If you can get those guests and do it, then more power to you. So,
absolutely
great. But keep up the good work, guys, because they're doing it. But best series, most captivating, well-crafted podcast series, our multi-part episode of the year. This one I thought was going to be a little bit more contested, but again, it kind of was a runaway. And I agree. I call this a very educational series, and you guys that did it, 2 of you guys are here, and were a very good big part of it. It was the Project 2025 series, and it was very, very well put together.
Yay!
Yeah.
Thank you.
Now the 4th episode got a little wacky.
We said,
all the adults had left the room at that point.
Yeah.
as soon as Mr. Beat left, it just
Mr.
like
Beat left, so we can't use colorful language with Mr. Beat, which is fine. So he keeps us in check, keeps things on the guardrails. Yeah, once he left, we were like,
Yeah, the
honestly,
first 3
though,
you're like family friendly, and you're all like,
Absolutely.
okay, this is it. And then the
Honestly,
4th one was like, whoa.
Can I cut in there? So that was the night that Alonso hit the 3-run homer to win the Braves series. So me and Danny were like already like going nuts, and then we got on, and I think we recorded like 20 minutes and it was so off. Like it was so crazy that we just like, all right, let's just start
It
this
was
over.
bad,
Let's
yeah.
take a
That's
breath.
funny. That's
Let's get
funny.
on track.
And that series took almost a year to put
Yeah.
together. We had
Oh.
planned on starting that series about 8 months earlier, and just for whatever reason we couldn't get it together. And then even in the recording of the series, man, we went like 2 months sometimes in between recording.
It was cool though. It was
So-
like a time capsule. I tried to say the
Yeah.
date every time we released it. So you kind of know what's going on like during that
Yeah.
time frame. But yeah,
well,
it was,
you guys did
it
a
was lot of
great
work.
job with it, and it doesn't surprise me that it took forever because it was like what 1 million pages. You know, I mean, it was just ridiculous. So
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah. I definitely
was-
won't revisit that. So
No, I'm good on reading it.
I'm
Between
good.
all of us, I mean, it was the entire thing was read between all of us, which was
Yeah.
nuts because that was 932 pages of that. thing.
yeah, that's insane. But yeah, it was. And again, if anybody hasn't read it, I mean, it's still out there. I mean, I guess nobody knows really what's going to happen with it. If it's going to be parts of it are going to be forward, whatever. I mean, not to get too political, but
Sure.
if it is going to go forward, or if it's not, or pieces or whatever. But if you should definitely hear it and listen to it because it was pretty fascinating, and you did do a good job of delving into each part of it. So yeah, so good job, guys. And definitely
you.
let the other folks know that were involved that it was you guys did a good job.
Awesome. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Yeah, yeah, for
I
sure.
didn't expect that one for some reason.
No,
I was
me
trying
neither.
to figure out who that was going to be,
Yep.
what that
Yep.
was.
What
I
did
appreciate
you expect? Let me ask you that. What do you think came in second place?
Well, when I think series, I'm thinking of like a particular, like something particular series. You know what I mean? Like
Yep.
at least
There was
two.
another big series that happened, and it was very popular, and a lot of us were on it.
Oh, it has Mama D.
That is correct.
Yeah,
Gotta be
that's right.
good.
Yeah.
Really?
Mama
Yeah.
Oh,
D's
that's
So
funny.
Mama
Right.
D's series, I'll tell you the list. So Project 2025 got by far the majority of the votes. Mama D's Sleepover got the second most votes.
That was so much fun.
Keb's series on candy got a vote.
That was a good one
That
too.
makes sense too.
Finding Your Way got in there.
I got a
For
vote.
his-
All right,
yeah.
how about that?
Yeah,
for
Beebs.
his votes
Beebs.
on leadership and things there. So there was a lot of gamut of things. Show Me Your Trips got in there for the trips things that I did, the family, a couple different things. So they're all over the board on a couple different things that were there. So again, it just shows the variety of what people listen to, what they like, which is great. And it's good. But yeah, but again, the majority of the people definitely enjoyed that 20. I think it was, and again, I think timing is everything,
Sure.
which you guys did great on. And it was such a big and important year for the election and everything. And you guys hit it right on the head with
Thank you.
doing it.
Awesome.
So
Thank you, guys.
yeah, for
Hey,
sure.
real quick, St. Joe,
Yeah.
before you move to the next one, we got some action over here on the
Oh.
Unfiltered Studios Podcast Network comment board, and I'll go through a couple of them. I'm going to throw some up in response to you winning the first Filtie for your catchphrase. So was your podcast chimes in and says rigged.
Oh boy.
You know?
Oh boy.
So
It's not. I can show you that.
but Victoria is in here and she says he's hilarious. We hang out on the TikTok and talk sometimes.
That's
I
funny.
think she's talking about Sleevey.
Yep.
Pretty sure. And then she says to the Untitled Project 2025. Did I get that right that time?
Yes, nailed it.
Okay, I've had my half gallon of eggnog here. She says congratulations.
Thank you, Victoria.
That's awesome.
Much love.
And yeah, so this one was fun. I did the clever or most intriguing title. I knew that this one was going to be hard. I know there wasn't going to be any clear winner here. So I'm just going to read some of the names of titles that were submitted, which I find hilarious. So we're just going to go through a couple, a few of them actually. One of them was Taylor loves Trump. Trump loves Taylor would be a very good one too, but Taylor loves Trump. Cleveland, where dreams go to die. Love that one. That one's a great one. Do you really want to move here? Which is from that Florida feeling.
That's a great title.
Yeah,
it
it
is
is.
a great title.
I ask people, I'm like, why did you come here?
That episode's hilarious because people are always like, it's Florida. Why wouldn't they want to move here? Well, you should listen to that episode because it's very funny.
My dad just moved there, actually.
It is. Is free will bullshit? The truth behind choice. Great episode. Another famous episode, and these are all, again, timing is everything, right? Erectoral College. Fantastic. That I
was on that episode, I think.
Clearly remember that episode.
I was on that episode, I think.
What if life had no meaning? I think there was a little bit more to the episode, but it might have been more to the title. But what if life had no meaning? Was that a story of?
So that was me, but I had Joe from the story.
You had Joe from the story of.
Okay.
Yep.
It was called "What If Life Has No Meaning? What if that's the best part?"
Okay, yeah. Perfect. And then
episode.
Yeah,
there's two more that made the list, which I thought there might have been a couple people that voted for this one, but I was wrong. It was #FTM. Sorry. Sorry, guys.
I will tell you that I voted for that one. I voted for that one because I did my ballot on the same day this damn Juan Soto got this contract.
I don't know how that one made the list, but I mean, you just happen to be on here. I mean, what? Smith is locked up all of a sudden, right? And then this by far is the best one that made the list, and Kev is going to crack up. And there's a story behind this, and Kev knows which one this is because I told him. But you can tell the story behind this, but it made the list because we had mentioned it to a person in the network who has never, I don't know if they've never eaten one or not, but pickles made the list, which is by far Kev's probably second most listened to podcast on the Stupid History.
All time it's number one.
Which
all
is
time,
crazy.
but for 2024 it's number two. But all time it's number one. And I think I'd mentioned it to somebody. I was doing an interview or something like that, and they were just like, well, do you know what your most, I mean, everybody on here knows which episode has the most listens. Everybody on here does. you know, and they probably know from those listens where people are listening. At least I do. Because I look at it all day because I'm like, who do I know in Kansas City? But I don't know that I could tell you the difference between a kosher pickle and a Catholic pickle. I don't know if I could tell you the difference or if there is a difference.
A Catholic pickle?
Yeah. I mean, they have them in Rome, right? I don't know. That's what I'm telling you.
Do you mean a dill pickle or?
Oh yeah,
I've never heard of a
dill
Catholic pickle.
Yeah, well, I mean, there's kosher pickles, so I just thought that they were like,
it would stand to reason, like kind of crazy idea. To be honest with you, I never thought.
Well, they're called kosher pickles because they're easy. Isn't it because they're
not because they're Jewish?
No.
I mean, I knew where he was going, but I'm like, what are you talking about?
For the record, I didn't say it. For the record,
I'm like,
what
are you talking about? Catholic pickle. I'm like,
Catholic pickle.
What are you talking about here?
I'm just saying. Hey, I find it hilarious that out of almost we're coming up on 1,000 episodes. So out of 1,000 episodes, and it's not even like it's like Unfiltered. The Flat Earth Day's like way up here. Everything's down here. I mean, it's not even close. This pickle episode, people love it. I don't know why. And I listen back to it. Pickles. Yeah, I listen back to it. It's not like I, said, any of the, hey, get this, or butchered somebody's name or something like that. Or, I think a couple episodes ago I started singing, I didn't do anything like that. It's just it's where pickles come from, man.
It's the funniest thing in the world, but
yeah.
I found it ironic that one made the list, but somebody loved it, so it's good.
Can I just cut in and say that I don't know if you guys, I think I told you guys this, but whoever the agent or somebody whatever this guy does, I got reached out by Flat Earth Dave's representation.
Yeah.
He has representation?
Yeah. Some dude, I don't know.
He's on
some
the big
dude
time now.
Yeah.
He told me about how famous Flat Earth Dave was. And
he's like, famous on YouTube, maybe. I don't know.
What? Dude, some of those Flat Earthers.
Dude.
Never mind.
Dude, you know who should have him on their show is Matt, because to deal with him you have to be drinking.
Yeah,
turn the and friends loose on him.
Yeah, I don't know if I have the bandwidth to deal with that.
It's insane, Jay. But I'm telling you, you have him on once, it will by far be the most downloaded episode you'll ever
get
have.
him on and then have Kev crash it. Just be like, Kev,
oh
come in
my
like 15
God.
minutes into the episode. Kev,
I'm available.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
My friend was like, you should just go like further like into it, like lean into it to the point where he's like, well, that's just a little ridiculous. Like,
the dude is
hit him with the triangle.
It's wild.
Yeah.
Dude, I'm telling you, he's like Beetlejuice, man. You start saying his name much time, and it'll get into the algorithm here at YouTube, and they'll start coming out of the woodwork, man.
It's true. It's true. It's great. I'd be willing to have him on the show again and just kind of see what's going on. I mean, because it is that wild. But man,
that was a good episode.
It's crazy. It's crazy. But
I was crying
when you guys first told me.
I was crying when I heard that. That was great.
Yeah, he's an interesting character, but but I thought those are some fun names. There's been a lot. I'm sure there's a lot more out there, but those were definitely some fun ones that people submitted for sure. We come to most active member on the podcast. I think that everybody can kind of agree with this one. She immediately reposts almost instantly when you put it up there. I don't know. She must get a notification right away. But Cindy, from Hypno Wellness.
Yeah.
I mean,
with comments as well. Like it's always a comment as well. It's beautiful.
Yeah, it's like instant, and so she's fantastic, and she's always, anytime chatting or doing anything, she's always available, which is great. And then we have newcomer of the year, best addition to the UNF pod family for the newest member who's made the biggest impact through support and participation. And this was a big one. So think again that, I just want to reiterate, everybody who's voted on this through the family. So the last two are kind of the big ones, if you will. The Academy has spoken here. What do they think? What do they say? The is it the foreign press? What are they?
What are you talking about?
When they speak when they do the isn't it the foreign press?
There is
something. Have you been living under a rock?
Who votes on the
Hollywood Foreign Press is the Golden Globes.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay,
you knew what I meant. The Hollywood Foreign Press.
Academy of Motion Picture Sciences is the Oscars.
Go. Oh boy, I had to do it to the stupid history
the
guy.
Nick at Night Awards is Nickelodeon.
There we go. All right. Well, Mr. Richards voting on this,
and that's what you want to win. You want to win the Nickelodeon, the Nick at Night Awards. Those are the ones you want to win.
That's it.
The Slime Awards.
Yeah. Aim high. Aim high.
That would have been awesome.
I believe they're called the Kids' Choice Awards.
That's it.
I believe they're called
very good.
Anyway, whoever's voting on anybody, this is by our podcast network.
My podcast isn't eligible for that one.
The newcomer of the year, taking this the third award of the evening, Mr. Jay Burke.
Really?
Yay.
Look at shock and awe.
I know. I
buddy.
didn't expect that. Thank you.
Yeah.
That's,
Yeah.
That's sexy.
that's
voice.
awesome, guys. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's paying off or something. No, I appreciate that. Like I really do. I didn't expect that. So
I did.
I want to thank the Academy. I want to thank the foreign press.
See?
The folks over at Nickelodeon.
The kids, the kids watching Nick at
All
night.
the kids out there.
all that stuff. No. But thank you. That means a lot to me because there's obviously a lot of great podcasts here, and just humbled. So thank you.
No, it's
Nice
your
job,
fellow
buddy.
podcasters that are
Congratulations.
Thank you.
all good. And then the last one that we have is the Golden Mike Award for lifetime achievement. Good God. In podcasting awesomeness. For overall podcast MVP. Whoa. Keb, you all right?
That wasn't
What
me.
happened there?
Somebody didn't want to hear it.
No, it's all good. It's all good.
That wasn't me.
I got to tell you, it came down to two people, and rightly so. I think these two people were neck and neck for a little while, but it ultimately came down to one person, and I'm glad that this person is going to win the award because I think that we all agree that she is a vital person in our network, and it is none other than Petals of Support.
Oh,
Congratulations.
And you can't see her right now, but she's crying.
the White Claw's not helping. I'm like, I'm emotional now.
We love you, Mama D. We love you.
You are the best.
That's right.
Thank you, guys.
That is right.
Well
Well, I
deserved.
have to say that because obviously you don't see me, I do this anonymously. So I don't have the family or the friend support that other people have because my boys know I do this, but they don't know the name of the podcast. My husband knows I do it, but he also, none of them have ever listened to it. My friends, no one knows I do it, or my parents, like no one knows. So I have no support. So I really, really appreciate all you guys because
You have our support.
yes,
Yeah.
and that is all I've ever needed. It was finding that group, which was, at first it was Keb and St. Joe and Beebs, and then it's grown. And to do, anything I achieve, numbers or anything doesn't really matter because I just know that I have this support, and I thank you guys for it.
That's amazing.
That's
You're most
amazing.
welcome.
Looky
You're
here.
most welcome.
Amazing.
Yay! Thank you, Victoria.
Yeah, that's amazing that your family and everything doesn't. I mean,
That's
obviously
crazy.
I mean, they're
support what you
supportive.
do, but
Like for Christmas, for example, they're always like, well, is there anything podcast you need? Because they don't understand. Like I think I told you guys in one of the group things that I needed help with, does anybody have music? Because my youngest wanted me to add background for his one school project and everything. So they know what I can do, but they've never really heard it. So he was really amazed when I put together his episode for him. He's like, yeah, but at school want to know how I could do this. And like, what'd you say? He goes, well, I lied. I said I did it. I go, of course you did. Why wouldn't you say that you did it? I'm like, why not? But yeah, I mean, they want to help in terms of, do you need anything? Like, do you ever want anything? But really, that's as far as I've ever wanted it to go. This is kind of, when you're a parent, you don't always have something that's just yours. And this is just mine. And so, I kind of like to keep it that way. Plus, I do share a lot of personal stuff that I'm sure the boys don't want everybody knowing, their business and everything. So,
sure.
but thank you.
Well, that's fantastic.
Congratulations, Mama.
Will I
D.
get a certificate? St. Joe?
No, we didn't do certificates like
I
we did last year,
just
but
kind
hey,
of
you know
want
what?
one though.
This is good. If you want me to make you one, I'll make you one.
No.
But yeah, it's you get the adoration and enjoyment from all of us. So,
No, thank you
Yeah.
guys. I
and
love all of you.
we love it that you and the sleepovers was definitely fun, and you know, you got to learn a ton of stuff from everybody that was on there, which I think is amazing. You have this unique ability to pull stuff out of people, which is great.
I appreciate that because I
Yeah.
don't want to, you don't want to pry, but I just
Mhm.
really appreciate all of you. And then all the other guests I had, some people came on and I'm like, I wasn't prepared for what they wanted to talk about. But of course, the idea is that if you've gone through it and how you've worked through it could help somebody else. And I just think that that shows how my guests are so wonderful that they
Mhm.
want to help other people through what they've gone through. So
Yeah.
I'm just lucky they're all willing to come on.
No.
I have a question for you, Mama D,
Dear
and
God,
I may
no.
have asked you this before, but I drink a lot.
I know. Thanks, Kip.
Yeah. What initially gave you the idea for Pedals of Support?
Well, I know I've shared the story, so I'm probably going to bore some of you, but like my boys, you know, I'm obviously a little hands-on with my boys, and I've always been that way. I've been at everything, and I've just been blessed that my husband works the job he has. It's let me be able to do all of that. But when my oldest was getting ready to go away to college, he was teasing my youngest and said, you know, I'm going to be gone and mom is going to like focus 100% on you. You are going to be her like world. And my youngest son did not want that because that meant I was coming to school. Like I was going to be there. And so they came together and for Christmas that year bought me just the basic stuff. And then they set it all up because I didn't know how to do any of it with, you know, an old MacBook. And I think that was my iPad. It was like this old iPad. And that's where I started. And then, like I said, I was lucky. I met you guys. I met Jay. Shout out to Jay Jones because I miss him and I love him. And everybody was so helpful to teach me how to do what I can do. But the advice was simply that they were tired of hearing it. So they were like, go tell other people, you know, you talk a lot, share all that advice with other people. So that's where it started. And then I got lucky and met everybody else, and they were willing to come on and share their advice too.
That's great.
Yeah. Well, you also create a safe space for people to feel comfortable to express those things. So that's all you. You know, you've created somewhere where people want to come on and talk about those things. So we thank you, Mama D, because you've provided us with a space that sometimes is a therapy space for us to come on and get that stuff off our chest. So thanks, Mama. We appreciate it.
Well, you guys all came on and just, you know, I appreciate the stories you shared. And if you knew me, you know, off the podcast, it might not be such a safe space. And my kids are like, do you scream at everybody? I'm like, well, no, they don't make me mad. So I'm not yelling at them. But yeah, I mean, I just like talking to people. And I know that my world is so small. So my advice is so small. So if I can get other people with other small worlds, because we all just have our own perspective. So
Sure.
somebody can relate to you.
Yeah. No, that's fantastic. So no, I appreciate it. You know, I thank everybody for voting and doing it. I think it gives a good perspective of the variety and the what eclectic group that we have. So it's good. And, you know, I say it each and every week on my podcast. I mean, with 29, 30 different podcasts, there's a taste for everybody at unfpod.com. And you can do it and you can find a lot of different people. And, you know, we're always looking for more. So man, I encourage anybody who's listening, viewing, whatever, you know, we're gonna have this recorded for everybody, turned it in so anybody can play it on their if they got a week off or whatever, they just want to throw it on and say, here you go. You know,
We
you can throw
hopefully
this on
have a
for an
meeting
episode.
coming up with another podcast. I'm working on that, guys. And
Yeah.
we might have another. I'm so excited if they decide to work out. So, you know, reach out because
Yeah.
it's, you know, that's how we all started. We kind of had these little
Yeah.
meetings. It was perfect.
However they want to join. I mean, I think it's great. I think we have a great community and a family atmosphere. So I think it's great. but I just want to be, we can certainly hang around and talk and do whatever. But I wanted to just kind of go around because it is Christmas. I mean, God, next week, I can't even believe it's Christmas
it's
next
crazy.
week. So whatever, we'll call it the holiday, Christmas holiday, whatever, just to keep it secular, I guess, whatever it is, whatever you're celebrating. And just say we'll go again around the room and just kind of say, what is it what's your favorite part of this time of year? Just kind of give an idea and just kind of wrap things up then. If you guys want to talk about something else, please feel free. But just give your idea of, because I'm sure everybody's going to travel somewhere, do stuff. Everybody's going to take a time off, which is expected. Everybody should. But if it's just, what's your one favorite time of this holiday season? What is it? And I can start. I mean, we have family come in all the time for Christmas, whether it's my side of the family or my wife's side of the family, and it's really just spending that time with them. We typically go on a trip. Shockingly enough, as being a travel person, it's so we look forward to always going somewhere, depending on where that trip's going to be, and just getting to spend that time with whatever side of that family is, and being around Christmas and doing that. It's always fun to see family. So I really enjoy, because we don't get to see them as often as we need to. Look forward to spending that quality family time with whichever side that it is, each and every year, and going on that trip. It's always a fun time to do that. So that's what I look forward to around this time of year. How about you, Beebs?
I've been working through on my podcast, kind of talking about that. For me, like the best part about Christmas is one, the fellowship, but I really enjoy the hope atmosphere that this time of year brings. And it doesn't matter necessarily what you believe in. The idea is the holiday where giving is more important than receiving. It's that concept of something larger than yourself, I guess. I don't know if that's the right way to put it, but that concept of hope and also doing things for other people that provides them with that hope. That's what I like about this holiday.
Sure.
Nice.
Mama D.
Well, of course, I'm going to go with both my boys are home, which I live for a full house. I didn't appreciate it when they were both home. And so when they're both here and my husband's here and little dog's here, it just feels home. It feels safe. And I love that right now, because my oldest is home, he can go with me to watch my youngest do things, which just reminds me of back when it was reversed, when I would drag my youngest to watch my oldest play soccer. And now we have it where my oldest gets to ride along with me. And usually whoever gets stuck shotgun, because we get snow here. We've had a few bursts, and that's about the time, like I have a complete anxiety attack, nervous breakdown while I'm driving. So whoever's shotgun usually has to deal with me. And my oldest does it much, much better than my youngest, who just puts on music and sings really loud. But my oldest talks me down a little bit. So I love having them both home so I can have that with them.
Nice. How about you, Jay?
So I was thinking family, but it's also friendship. A lot of friends that you drift apart from for some reason. I feel like around this time, you either find a reason to see them or talk to them again. Maybe it's because you slow down from the grind at some point, more days off, but people tend to be around more, and it's just, I'm always thankful for that.
Yeah, that's great. You get that Christmas card in the mail that you haven't seen for a while or whatever, right? And you're like, oh yeah, perfect. Yeah. Smith?
Being still, I guess, a new dad. My son's 4. It's watching the lead up, really. Actually, it's the lead up, and then watching his expression when he walks out of his room on Christmas morning and he sees the tree and he sees the presents, right? My mom passed away in 2019, and that was really hard, and that was a year before my son was born, and so that first Christmas after mom passed was really difficult, and then the Christmas after that was the first with my son. And so it just brought a completely new meaning to the holiday, and as he gets older, just I always record that moment when he gets out of his room, and I use one of the old VHS apps, right? So it looks like an old VHS recording, and it's such an amazing thing. He's just rubbing his eyes, the face lights up. So that's become my favorite part of the holidays, being a dad. I think really, being on this side of it is so it's so much better than being a kid. Being a kid was fun, but being a dad and watching your kid enjoy it, there's nothing that beats that. So yeah, it's been amazing.
Nope, I agree with you, man. They grow up quick.
Yeah.
Cool. Matt?
I'm going to say family for sure, and also taking time this time of year to try to slow down a little bit, reflect, relax, do a little bit of self-care, try to take some time off. As far as family, my daughter's birthday is also 2 days after Christmas, so this is like her week. And for me, it's a lot of the same. Watching her eyes light up when she sees the Christmas tree, going through the birthday parties and things like that with her, but just getting to spend that time with my family, who I don't see, that much throughout the year either. And again, slowing down and the aspect of reflecting as you go into the new year.
Right. Yeah, that's awesome. Yep. My mom's birthday is on Christmas, so she always got, she kind of got screwed.
Yeah.
So it's
my dad's the
birthday
day after.
Christmas thing. So I get that totally. But yeah, that's awesome. What, Keb? What do you got?
All of that, and before I forget, and I think I probably speak for everybody here, I want to thank St. Joe for putting this together. This was awesome.
Thank you, St. Joe.
Thank you, St. Joe.
You know what St. Joe deserves is one of these. To answer the question, I think the Christmas season, which starts for me the day after Thanksgiving, I don't do it after July 4th like everybody else. But it probably means a little bit more to me this year. I've been more in a spirit in all this. If you guys have been following along, I haven't really had the best 2024. Health wise, I spent a week in the hospital in February. I was diagnosed with skin cancer in August. But I look forward. So I look at it as a season starts. The Christmas season starts for me the day after Thanksgiving, and it's a lot of parties and stuff like this, and being with family and trying to get away from family and telling my kids no and all this. But it doesn't top out on Christmas morning. Christmas morning is like the cherry on top to me. But what I'm really interested in is what happens on December 23rd, because that's the holiday of Festivus. And my favorite part is the airing of grievances, because I got a lot of problems with a lot of people.
Nobody leaves till you're getting pinned.
Yeah. That's my favorite part of the season.
Why are you crying, Keb? It's time for the feats of strength.
Yeah, just like everybody watches the turkey episode on WKRP on Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
Everybody should watch the Festivus Seinfeld.
Such a great episode.
From then on. See, you guys thought I was going to get serious there for a second.
No, a little bit.
But seriously though, I do want to say that as a network, I know we had when me and Beebs had the initial conversation, and then Mama D and St. Joe, I don't think we thought that in 2 short years it would be where it is now. At least I didn't. I actually, on a conversation with Beebs, was like, okay, whatever you want to do, dude. And you Beebs, was I not?
Yeah.
And I was just like, yeah, okay, I'm with you. And that turned into some pretty aggressive growth plans and pretty aggressive things like that. I can tell you now, outside of having to do scans every 6 months, I'm healthy and ready to go. So
Awesome.
just take our plans for 2024 and put them into 2025. We're going to get some things that we want to do on here because I think we've got a great group. I am thankful every day for the group that we have, because if somebody is down, they'll pick them up. And that's basically what we were looking for. If somebody is late to sharing here, well, we got 10 people over here that'll share it too. So no one is lacking because everybody else picks them up. And that is the idea behind Unfiltered Studios.
And it always has been.
That was the idea. People helping people, period. And we won't move from that. It's our core value, if we have one. But we're going to get a tad bit more aggressive. Keep in mind, when you're thinking about, hey, Kev said aggressive, and we don't see a lot of stuff going behind the scenes. And keep in mind, no one does this full time.
Yeah.
Everybody has stuff going on, and to do that. So, but, just to put it in the back of your minds that we're going to be asking some of the membership if they want to take a role, and because I think we're there. I think there are those of you out there that can kind of see the vision if we stay around the core vision, but everybody's got good ideas. We don't know much at all, so I think collectively, if we use our wisdom, we can all benefit,
Just get bigger and better.
Yeah. So, I want to thank every one of you. Thank St. Joe for putting this together, and thank Mama D for winning that last award, so I didn't have to give a speech.
Hey, we did pretty good.
Is that who I was up against? Is that the second place? Was it Kev?
It was the second. Was it up against Kev?
I'll share it with Kev.
No.
It's already in the mail. It's already in the mail.
It's already in the mail.
Oh no.
The fake award is in the mail.
Can I step in here for just a
minute?
I just want to say, to everyone in the studio, you guys who are here today, when me and Kev did have that initial conversation, I gotta say, I never thought it would be what it is. It is. I can tell you of the things that I've done in my life, and I don't know if this may not mean much to you guys, but it means a lot to me. I am proud of all of our shows. I'm proud of you folks here. From the moment we've been listening to you, from the moment you joined our podcast, and to watch you guys grow and become successful. And I got to tell you, the quality that has progressed out of, I would say, all of our shows. And to watch that, I'm proud of you guys. I am proud, to be, part of this, and I'm proud that we could put our name on this together and work together and be this way. Like I said, we were talking to Kev. Kev brought it up. He's like, okay, yeah, whatever, dude. Let's get it going. And that's kind of like, we had an idea. We didn't really know what it was doing, but man, I got to tell you, meeting some of you, talking to some of you, and hopefully, I've spoken to all of you pretty much at some point, but I want to have all of you at least on my show maybe once, and just getting to know you and do this with you all is a privilege. So thank you very much for being part of the studio.
I'm pretty sure everybody has about 10 minutes to spare, so it should be. It's all good.
Burn.
Far be it from me to make fun of somebody for having a short podcast.
Hey, me too, man. I got mine's short. The other one's short too, but hey, we didn't want to go much longer than an hour because I know everybody's time is important, and especially on a Thursday. You took the time to be away from your family for this, so I appreciate it again. but we went a little long. But again, if anybody wants to say anything, please, now's the time. But if not, like I said, we're going to make this into an episode. Beebs is going to cut it up and add some music, and then we're going to shoot it out to everybody. So, like I said, we can put it on to whenever you need it. If there's a week, you can just plop it out there and say, "Here's you can run it whenever you need to."
Very nice. Very nice. Awesome.
I think I'm going to title it "When Mama D Kicked Everybody's Butt."
Oh wow!
I think
Hey,
that's-
there you go.
I think you should.
Mama D rules the world right there. You can
Mama
title it
destroyed everybody.
whatever you want to. Mama D MVP, whatever you want
That's
to
a good one.
title it.
Yeah.
You can do it whatever you want. But cool. Well, if nobody has Keb, you can do it. That's your famous line right there.
Well, if nobody has anything else, for Jay Burke, for Mama D, for Danny, for Matt, for the Beebs, and for St. Joe, my name is Keb. Catch you guys next year.
Beebs.